Aydın University, Blockchain Academy. Today, Kristijan Glibo, Founder CEO of Beyondi and Green Mining. And today the subject is regenerative finance on the long-term perspective. So thank you very much, Kristijan. The floor is yours.
Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I didn't plan how long we are going to have the session, but the more time we have, the better for us, because I prepared a lot of interesting stuff, what I'm doing in the space of blockchain and regenerative finance. So long story short about me, unfortunately today I will not have the camera because I'm on the desktop machine, but long story short about me is I'm a founder of Beyondi, like Erol said, and I'm in the blockchain space from 2015. I was heavily involved into Bitcoin mining operations, developing the wallets, developing the early technology and early tools around the blockchain itself, developing the regulator. Yes. Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, because something is breaking on my end all the time. So did you want to say something? Or
no, we are listening to you.
Okay.
Because you are cutting sometimes, so we could not catch you.
Okay, so okay, I will try. If I cut again, just let me know with the hand raised. I don't know what's happening, but on my side it says internet is okay. So let's continue. So the thing is, I was heavily involved in the regulatory framework, and we developed and helped a lot of project founders in Web3 space and in early days of blockchain to create the white papers, to understand the token economies, to improve the technical implementations. And from that point on, it was my goal to continue doing it for something what can be good also for humanity, environment, etc. Because I strongly believe that blockchain is a technology which can have great social impact, and it also can have a great environmental impact and bring more communities together for the common goals. So with that in mind, I want to give you a brief introduction to the regenerative finance and what exactly that means. So the regenerative finance is, in a blockchain way of thinking, it's an alternative economic system built on regenerative principles. Sorry. So what that means basically is that the impact of the projects which are being done on a blockchain or on the crypto layer is always empowered by participation, is in right relationship with the communities. It has a great environmental impact, governance impact, holistical views, and also the edge effect abundance. That means basically it's used for create a better planet, or to create a better communities, to create better environment for everybody around us. So one of the first examples of that kind of financial instrument was the early, let's say, exemplementary tokenization of carbon credits. So carbon credits is something new, what is currently under development, but will come in the near future, which basically means that the companies who are creating less CO2 will have bigger carbon credits, and they will be able to sell that to the companies who are, for example, using the fossil fuels. So that means basically you are forcing in some way companies who are using fossil fuels to pay and give money to those who are not using it. And with that in mind, you are somehow rewarding those who are actually going who are more protective in the environmental perspective. On the other side of the regenerative finance, it means basically that we need to strengthen our communities, and we need to have more understanding on transparency of the data, and more understanding on let's say our transactional layer, what's happening inside the ecosystem, what's happening with the data, who is responsible for some data, was the proof of data, what was the proof of immutability, etc. All that brings much more understanding of regenerative finance and its impact. So today, now when I got you in some introduction, I will give you more real world examples, and I will start with one project where I joined. I think it was last year. I joined there as an investor, and then I became a co-founder and head of development. So it's called the GreenMiningDAO. GreenMiningDAO is a founding collective of people and enthusiasts who wants to make Bitcoin mining green. So if you are aware or familiar with the blockchain and cryptocurrencies or anything around the Bitcoin mining, you probably heard a lot of about it, how it's not good for the environment, and how Bitcoin is wasting too much energy, etc., etc. All that is partially true. Yes, it's wasting, it's using a lot of energy. It doesn't mean it's wasting. The problem about Bitcoin and mining and its environmental pressure is not in Bitcoin itself. It's in outdated energy sources which we are using. Those energy sources are mostly created of the fossil fuels. So with that in mind, it's not about the problem to adapt something what was innovative technology, which is blockchain protocol, to the old way of energy sources. And we had created a way how we can bring more democracy to the Bitcoin mining. That was the first goal. More green to the Bitcoin mining, and more sustainable operation into Bitcoin mining. And that's why the GreenMiningDAO was created. So GreenMiningDAO is actually empowering the Bitcoin mining for the retails. And it's empowering the mining for the retail space. So the retail space for us are the people who are not the huge companies who can invest a vast amount of money, but they are rather something some private entities or private people with a smaller portion of investment which they can use. So this is actually the pitch deck which we are using for the investors and bringing more people inside. But I will give you, it has a really valuable information, and I will give you the whole process how we actually operate the DAO. DAO means decentralized autonomous organization, which is in our case registered in Switzerland, and we are not just a token like GMD, GreenMiningDAO token. We are actually a share, which means we are totally security token, completely regulated by FINMA authority, and behind every of our token is actually the share of the company, which is registered there in Switzerland. So we are operating under the entity, not just as a speculative asset on the market where you don't have anything related or regulated or protected with the regulator. So what we were having as an opportunity, we wanted to create something what's sustainable in the manner of mining, where the energy costs are low, where the energy is green. We didn't want to centralize the ownership, which basically is the problem with the blockchain networks. So we want to fractionalize ownership, and we want to pay out our investors a quarterly dividends and offer them possibility to trade or have another different tokens which are green mined and created by our ecosystem, so they can decide do they want to have a facility in EU, Turkey, Paraguay, or whatever. So basically, that was our goal for the first run. So what's happening right now is that retails are going into Bitcoin. And if you see the long-term perspective, which I want to talk about, the regenerative finance, we need to make that green. So because by empowering the main protocol as Bitcoin, you will actually empower the other cryptocurrency behind it, which basically will offer a much more sustainable environment and much more practical environment for everything what's coming in ESG and SDG goals. And I think those goals will heavily affect the procedures and the business processes as we know, because we will need to adapt to everything. We also strongly believe that in a future, projects who are doing this are actually more related to, will have more traction, and the Bitcoins which are mined green will probably have more in value. Because if we look from the perspective of carbon credits, which that means that the green Bitcoin can also become connected to the and have a green certificate, which basically means that we need to prove that that Bitcoin was mined with the green energy source. If we prove that and government confirms it, we are basically having a carbon credit connected to the Bitcoin itself. That is actually what we strongly believe that can empower the way of let's say regenerative and positive finance and positive impacts in the projects for the projects in crypto, where we can bring more and more green projects and empower this market. So the current state was that retails. So why it needs to be another way? So we spoke about the energy source, but for us, it's also social impact. So a social impact and that kind of using coloration with the regenerative finance is also quite important. We don't want to have few people again controlling all the stakes. We want to have more people and retail people who maybe do not have access to the relevant resources, lack of energy, location, equipment, overpaying the electrical bills, etc. Then the second one, they are maybe enthusiasts and they would like to go inside, but they are not having the proper knowledge and they don't have understanding of the hardware. They tried. I know a lot of people around me who tried to mine, and some of them failed with the hardware mistreatment, and that's normal, not normal way. And unfortunately, it costs you a lot of money. So we want to solve also that problem. And then limited liquidity, which basically means most miners are private and hard to invest in. You know, that's in most cases, it's just a couple of people. While in here, we want to have, let's say, 10,000 people owning a facility of 10 megawatts, which basically means you have 10,000 shareholders owning a company who owns the facility. And that's something where we are speaking then about true decentralization, because the Bitcoin network, based on the miners who are owned by some entities, is the percentage of the decentralization itself. That means also for the Ethereum, for Cardano, for any other blockchain. It depends how many people individually control the machines. The more people control the machines and mining process or staking process, the more network is decentralized. So when we speak now about all of this, we can see the first layer for us again is sustainable BTC mining. We produce BTC at the moment with 100% renewable energy, and it's 36% below global average cost. And it creates an ESG investment opportunity for everybody. So at the moment, we are running one facility in Paraguay. We are now buying more megawatts to scale it. And there's also one funny way how we actually also connected the regenerative finance with the real world asset. So once we go to the sustainable BTC mining, we have a lot of heat because of the miners. And then what we did, we created a concept of using heat, which is not useful for us, and transfer it into different container. And there we want to use that heat to dry the fruit. So we are actually using the, let's say, garbage, which is heat created by miners, and just reusing it as something good to have dried fruit. Also, what we like I said before, the second layer is fractional ownership, and I explained you that already. And like I said, the quarterly dividends which are being paid off. So we have actually the profitable ecosystem, so that people can actually connect, be with us, be the part of the green mining. Because in most situation, when people invest in some blockchain projects, in some crypto projects, they're outside, and that's the problem. When you are speaking about the decentralization, that basically means the centralization of the activities also, which basically gives you, which basically needs to give you also possibility that you become the active member. And that means community. Community means culture, culture means strategy. And then the latest, like I said, the trading platform. So once when we created the green mining, our long-term perspective is not just to have, when you solve all those 4 problems and four things which we are offering, our long-term idea is to create GM data centers. So GM data centers is basically, we are handling everything between facility, and we are handling everything between equipment, knowledge, and people are just tracking us, and we are using our cut to provide them Bitcoin hassle-free. And we think that can drive the mass adoption, because because we are solving the biggest problem, and that's the fear of doing something wrong. And when you are doing mining, if you do something wrong, that basically costs you a lot. So the second, so what we are also, by using the Bitcoin itself as a fundamental layer for our regenerative finance project, which you see here, it actually gives us possibility to create a different business models around it. And that's also something what holds the future of building things around the Bitcoin, the green way, or building things around the blockchain in more decentralized way, and more eco-friendly way, ESG optimized. We want to have a dryer, which I already told you, like reusing heat to dry fruits. The second thing is what we conceptually created is using methane from the farms to power the miners. The third thing is use the excess electricity to increase revenue for windmillers, because windmillers produce more electricity, and sometimes it cannot be used in the grid. So why not then use that excess electricity and put into miner and earn enough money for and increase the profit. The builder is the fourth thing, which enables the remote location to access renewables. Basically, if you have a farm, you want to have a grid there, you want to put a miner inside, you want that farm to use, you want that miner to use the electricity once the farm is not using it, and you have the access. You basically, by creating your own small grid, you are increasing the profitability of the farm itself. Also, what we are creating, we are creating the co-mining. So that means basically everybody who wants. We do not want to own the facilities, because that's going to be that is contradictory to regenerative finance. So we do not want to own all the facilities. What we are doing, we are owning the know-how, how to set up the facility, how to set up the legal framework, how to set up the financial framework, and everybody who are interested to, for example, run their own facility, they can come to us and go through us to get the fundraising and we are just using the like 20% for the operational handling of all the equipment, everything what's needed for him to mine. And then what we are doing for let's say our co-mining partner, we are then inviting retail to join. So then that retail is actually powering his own facility and controlling it by voting and voting and proposing, etc. This is not important. This is also not important. So this is where we are actually mining. This is something what is our roadmap and what we want to have. Now is we are going to 2 megawatts, and we are currently in that. Then we use in the October we are going to launch reuse of heat with Bitcoin Mango. That's how we call it, drying the mango fruit in Paraguay, and then late 2023-24 tokenization of green mining and first co-mining facility. On the long run, we really want to establish more facilities all around the world in different parts of the world, and get involved to be, let's say, one of the biggest leads in a green mining ecosystem on the Bitcoin network. And definitely we have optimistic and ambitious to become 1 gigawatt total by 2033, all green. And yeah, we think we are gonna have a long run for that, but we think it's gonna be challenging, but at the end we are gonna succeed it. So this is one of the projects I wanted to show you from the regenerative finance perspective, and I would like to stop share right now. I don't know, do we have a question session, Erol, or I can just move on explaining anything else?
I think it's very interesting topic, so it's better to continue to go on.
Okay.
Instead of questions, because if they raise the questions, maybe you will tell afterwards. So it's better you continue.
Okay, no worries. So then I will continue with the different. So you saw now the most technical project we had, and I think is it something what I can show you right now is we'll have even more understanding how actually we can combine regenerative finance with something what is real asset. So I will give you a brief introduction into something what we do with the agriculture. But first, just to finish, the green mining is, like I said, we are not just the BTC miner. We are green energy veterans. We are global community builders. All of us who are in GreenMiningDAO, we have our companies from previous ventures. Me myself, I am the asset tokenization expert, and I'm really working on making this as much as fair as it's possible in the current financial situation in the world. And I think this is our result until now, so that we are actually build out 2 million data centers, and currently we are having the co-mining facility. We want to move to the Bitcoin sidechain to be the first tokenized facility on a Bitcoin sidechain, because that's something what actually started last year. Okay, so let's move to another theme, and that theme is actually connected to the agriculture. One sec, I want to move this. Okay, so this is another project which was developed and released yesterday in Croatia. So what you see here is again a regenerative finance project where we created a fundraising platform to support small farmers. Okay, so here basically you buy the NFT, which means you buy something, some commodity. It can be a grain, it can be barley, it can be some vegetables, But for our first project, it's a pig farm. So in Croatia and the EU, you have a huge problem which is coming because of the ESG goals, and that is that they need to cut off the pig farm production for 20% this year, and that is going to affect a lot on the price of the food. So here is the problem, that food is being now used as some kind of weapon, because the countries are not producing enough for their internal affairs. So the countries are actually depending on the import. That means you can put a pressure on the price, and by putting the pressure on the price, you actually can control the economical situation in the country itself. That's why the meat price, the grain price, and everything is going to be expected to raise a lot in the future. So with our platform GoAgro, which was released yesterday, and we are on all national TV station in Croatia, in EU, I didn't expect so much popularity about this, but obviously the agriculture is a huge pain point at the moment. So we released it yesterday, and with the GoAgro, what you can do is we bridge the gap between agriculture and technology. Basically, we are solving two problems. The first problem is the money for the agriculture people. What it means is that if you want to get funded to bring the farm, you need to go through the EU funds. It's slow. It takes you a lot because of the administration and bureaucracy. On the other side, you don't have the market because you don't know for who you are providing and let's say, or making those pigs or grain or vegetables. So our idea was, let's make a crowdfunding platform where people buy the NFT. By buying the NFT, they are buying the commodity, which will be produced in the future. By buying that, you are actually helping a small farmer to start the production, because he knows to who he will gonna sell that, or for who he's gonna produce it and resell it later. Doesn't matter. And then what's happening is that once when you invest, you are actually earning the money by that you are getting the interest rate on the yearly basis, because farmer will produce more than it's requested in the fundraising campaign, and that more is going to be given away as an interest. So what we are actually doing and how it works, it's totally user friendly. You come to the platform, you find the fundraising campaigns, which is previously screened by us, and which is previously completely set up by us, because we are those who are setting up the let's say token economy behind, or interest behind, or whatever it is. And then we are we are allowing them to raise the money over us, to support the let's say the data immutability and the trust. We are using blockchain integration, so every transaction is recorded, everything what we are minting, every asset which is sold through our platform is sold through the blockchain itself. So that means you can invest by buying with the cryptocurrencies, or you can invest by the fiat money, currently in euro, which is supported in Croatia. Then the last one is once when all the NFTs are being bought and the supply is being organized, liquidity is provided. I will give you the example on the pig token. Then you will be able to do the trading on the market, where basically you will be able to sell your pig NFT, which basically means you are selling your pig, or you are gonna withdraw it, which basically means you can go to the farm and pick the meat and bring it home. So it's direct farmer to consumer sales, it's fresh product marketplace, and it's to support local farmers. So why we see the potential is, like I said, it's direct connection with the producer, it's economical and physical access to the food, where you can grow food by buying it in future without GMO free, antibiotics free, sustainable CO2 emissions, because we do not support farms or any project which is not sustainable or at least aligned in some way with the ESG rules, which is dictated by the European Union. That's why this farm, which we support as the first one, was our choice. So I will show you what is actually the big NFT. So the first actually started and we sold yesterday in a premiere, we sold one directly, but let's see the presentation of the project itself. So Pig NFT is a production of high quality pigs in Croatia by AgroPork. Those guys are actually created the biggest farms in Croatia in the last, I don't know, 10 to 15 years. And their way of doing it, of doing another two farms, is they want to be totally green. They want to have totally controlled environment for the pigs, and everything to be on the highest possible level. So they are raising the money to build those three farms, and with every NFT they sell, they are required to produce one pig. So they want to do it without GMO components, antibiotic-free farms, animal welfare condition according to the highest EU standards, closed cycle of manual processing and production of high-quality organic fertilizers. So those guys, for example, have a zero-waste production principle because they are not buying the food for the animals. They are growing their own foods around the farm. Energy efficiency independence and reduced CO2 production footprint by 90%. So with that in mind, he came to us and he said it would not be possible to do this project if we do not have the blockchain itself, because to have this aligned and to get the money for this, it's too expensive, and to have the way that to come from the EU, it's not possible. So you see how blockchain is actually impacting even the most traditional industry like agriculture, which doesn't have any connection to the IT at the moment. It actually empowers and emphasizes the way how we can work as a buyers with our local producers. And that gives us totally different perspective, that we really can have a quality assurance and control, that we can literally have locally sourced raw materials, that we understand that on those what we are eating is we have expert knowledge and nutritional innovation, state-of-the-art production, etc. And what I think and what is the most important point of this platform is that, and for example, for this farm, is that basically we do not have at the moment a single source where we can say, yes, what I'm eating is definitely what is on the label, but because you are a buyer. But if you become an investor like this, you become active member of community. You become a person who is actually penetrating into agriculture and making a way for others to come. Because if your satisfaction is doing the social impact on outside, that impact will come to the others and others will join. And that is the ecosystem and the community of the decentralized nature. And that is what we see as a huge potential here. We think that the pig farm, in this case, they will need like 900 days to produce the pig and the farms, and people will need to have the project, to have the tokens hold for 900 days. But what we think is that there are maybe let's say more applicable one, like vegetables growing. So what I want to share you about the vegetable growing is that with the vegetables, for example, you can have a distance garden where 10 of people can say, let's invest 250 euros, or let's say 5,000 euros. And you create your own small fractionalized vegetable green garden, which is run by somebody else on the village, And then when the vegetable is produced, which can be on a monthly basis, you as a team vote, do you want to consume that vegetable, or you want to sell it to the restaurants or whatever is the case, and then use that money to reinvest or just to split. So you actually become a partial owner of some distance garden, and you eat eco homegrown how you want, because you control, and it doesn't affect your time, it doesn't affect your I don't know, schedule, because it's all on a distance. But you can it's all on a distance, but it comes to your table hassle free, just with a few clicks. And yeah, you have here a small ROI which we created, so it's quite funny. So basically, like, currently the price of the is what per 100 kilograms, it's 225 on the market, but they think with that in 3 years it's going to be like 375. This is by Eurostat and some statistical things, the statistical institutions. So basically it means you will have like 93% in ROI, which is quite nice for the, you know, income, because of the inflation and everything what you have currently and what's happening. And yeah, this is what we have regarding the agriculture, and what we have developed for the agriculture sector here in Croatia. And I think this is quite actually nice and cool, much more applicable to the average Joe than the digital and Bitcoin mine. And the last one project, I will go easily through this because it's something what is being developed in the moment. It's a Web3 lifestyle app, which basically it means iVault. So we are calling it the lending finance. So what we are actually offering here is that we are offering people being able to lend their stuff in the community around them for some money, or sell it instead of buying a new one or using a new one for a single purpose. And that, with that in mind, we are actually giving them eco points, because there is no transport needed, there is no production cost needed, there is no new material needed. So it's all eco-friendly and aligned with the sustainable goals of the EU. So we are using this application actually to attract people into blockchain, and offering them possibility to earn the money on the stuff which is actually staying at home. Like you have in America, for example, the garage sales. So there's a lot of people having a lot of stuff in garage, and they don't even know how much of that stuff is worthwhile. So what we are offering them is to import the stuff in the marketplace, create their own KYC, create the profile, everything goes to the blockchain itself, and they are able to lend the stuff to other people. At the moment, we have the version 1, which attract the 40,000 people actively using, and now we are going into Web3 and tokenizing all the stuff from the version 1. And we have a huge team behind, and we plan to launch this app in I think in March. Yeah, it's in March. So that will be it from my side. And with this, I think I will close my session for now. Only if we have something else to add, you can ask me, or Erol, you can comment, I can continue. But for now, I think we went through everything, and it's a lot of information. I don't want to get people confused with a lot of stuff.
Thank you very much, Kristijan. It was really very fruitful, very teachable seminar from your side. We really learned a lot of things from your side, and we are very happy to have you as our speaker today. I think I'm looking, there is no questions from the floor. So Then, as Istanbul Aydın University Blockchain Academy Blockchain Talks, we are very thankful for your participation as the speaker, as the panelist today, and we learned the regenerative finance from you with the new ideas, which was really triggering our minds for the new thoughts and new ways. Kristijan, Glibo, who is the CEO of Go Beyond and Green Mining, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure to give the knowledge and to share the knowledge we have. And I'm always keen to join any other panel and support this wonderful technology to go into mainstream and to attract more people, start digging around it and researching around it, because it's something what is going to be impactful in the years to come. Thank you one more time.